Hi there guys, Stefan here with my weekly update video, and I'm gonna go quickly over the progress that I've had with my SRS character. Since my last video, the character is still level 95. We almost got to 96, but after that I died a few times trying to do some Conqueror maps. I was finding one of the Conquerors, and unfortunately, because I've not done those early boss fights too many times, my execution is still lacking. I'm not technically a great player, so I gave up for the time being on getting XP on this particular character. What I've decided is I'll settle on the Guardian as just my farming character, which the whole purpose of this character from now on would be just to farm maps, to get gear, pardon me, and to get currency and boss invitations for other characters. So this will be the primarily character that I'll be doing any boss encounters on, because I wouldn't really care about progressing level wise past that level. The only benefit that I'll get is I'll be able to get a couple of more dual slots, so potentially I could pump up the power of the character a little bit more. But for now, I'm quite happy with the power level of the character, so I'll just be using it just to farm currency and equipment for future characters. I've got a few characters that I've got in mind that I want to reroll into. One of them would be, I've actually leveled the character to about level 70, and I've just shelved it to get the gear for it, to be a Dead-Eye character. That should be just really your typical very fast bow-based mapper. But for this, to get this character going, I'll need quite a lot of gear more, so I've just shelved it until I acquire said gear on this character. And I also would be wanting to make some sort of assassin in mind. I've got obviously my earlier plans of getting cast on crit Forbidden Right guy are still in store, so once I acquire some more gear, I'll potentially reroll into it, and I'll at least check it out, see how it plays. But so far, what we've been doing on that character for the last week is I've been running some 14s and 15s to get, first of all, a map pool going on, and also to get maybe an invitation. So we've managed to get that. We've also been doing some of my Kirak missions. So when you are running red Kirak missions, all the maps in his trade windows would be tier level 16. So this is a really good point. Once you accumulate quite a few missions, I had about 80 or so of his missions. So I just decided to treat them as free tier 16s that you don't invest into. You just run the maps from his windows, and you can run as many missions you've got, and that serves you as a starting point to build up your own map pool, because basically any maps that you're getting out of those maps are free maps, because you've not invested anything of your own currency. And this is really good for SSF. Plus, when you reroll his trade window, you've got the option to get either Conqueror maps or some other, boss invitation type of maps. And sometimes potentially, every time you run one of his missions, his actual trade window would refresh as well. So you'd get, sometimes very, very rarely you'd get one of those maps on offer here. So like Lair of the Hydra or any of the other maps that give you access to one of the boss fragments. So that's really a good way to start, farming those invitations, so that when you want to basically refund your initial Atlas tree into more like a bossing type of tree, you've got the sets ready for you to run. And so yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been running up those 14 plus maps to get my map pool started, and it's starting to look really good. I've already got quite a few maps, plus quite a few of the boss invitation maps, and I'm just trying to, while I'm doing the maps, obviously I get strong boxes, I get currency, and I get some essences. So I've been getting essences and just trying to upgrade my gear. So my gear is starting to look better, but I've still got quite a few items to upgrade. So I'll go over every item slot. So my helm is still the previous helm that I had, which I was using mainly for the tier 1 spell suppression role, but it is missing the plus to level of minion skill gems modifier, which is really important when you're doing any sort of minion based build. So I have managed to get a +2 level of all minion skill gems. I was hoping that I would get this item from Rock, trying to craft any helms that he has on offer, but so far that hasn't paid off. So I decided to try and roll the +2 myself. First of all, starting with alteration spamming until I find the +2 mod. Then I rolled +2 on its own. Then I added on, I think it was the increased life regeneration that I managed to add on. Then I regoed it. Then on the rego, I got the +13 dexterity. I had a spare exalt, and I exalted the tier 1 life, which was really lucky. So what I did is I just crafted spell suppression on the free suffix, and once I get another exalt, I'll probably just exalt it, and I'll use that as my endgame helmet, because just the +2 minion skill gems, and then I've got a plus tier 1 maximum life, which is pretty good. And for SSF, I'll probably just settle for it. In terms of my chest, I managed to 6-link the full dragon scale that I had in the last video, but I had it 6-socketed but not 6-linked, so we managed to get that 6-linked. And for now, this is not going to be the final version of the chest. I managed to, on the implicit of the Exarch and Ether implicit, I managed to get increased determination effect and +1 to all maximum resistance. So this is pretty much I think that's the best that I can get. So I've settled for this. And then what I'm gonna do once I get the currency, because I need quite a few divines for that, I'm going to craft suffixes cannot be changed, scour it so that I get just the lightning resistance and then chance to suppress spell damage. Then our craft suffixes cannot be changed again, and I'm gonna go to the Horty crafting station, and I think the name of the craft was what was it? Reforge a rare item with random modifiers, including chaos modifiers, which you guarantee that we'll get a chaos resistance roll. And because we've got the meta mod, it's gonna keep the lightning resist and spell suppress roll. Then once we have our suffixes locked in, I'm probably gonna do again suffixes cannot be changed and reforge a rare item with life until I get respectable life roll, and then I'm just gonna double exalt it and hope for some sort of increased armor invasion or something like that. Or actually I'll probably craft one item, one modifier on the bench, then I'll just do a single exalt. I'm not going to do 2 exalts. I want to get something guaranteed. So this should be the end game helmet armor. Then in terms of the gloves, I'm keeping these ones for now. They're pretty good for SSF. I've got the Exarch and Ether modifiers are pretty much the ideal ones for my build. Then I've got tier 1 life, tier 1 suppression, tier 2 cold resistance, then the dexterity. I think I actually need the dexterity, so that's good. and I had one, the fire damage to attacks as a redundant mod for me. I'm not getting anything out of it, but I mean, if I get, I need to farm bestiary and get. I think I can't actually remember if I can still get the beast that saves a version of the item and then you can restore it. If I can do that, I'll do that, and then try to annul the fire damage to attacks, and then I'll probably just double exalt slam it. But yeah, probably this would be my endgame gloves. Although I did manage to also find a tier 1 fracture for tier 1 life, so I can potentially try and craft on those. Although these are item level 83. So I don't think I can get max suppression roll on them. So probably this would be my final gloves for this character, and this pair I'm gonna craft for my next character because these are pretty good as well because of the tier 1 fracture. But unfortunately, if it was level 85, they would be ideal. I would just roll them for max spell suppression. But on this one, I can actually just get tier 2. And actually, yeah, they're pretty good because they've got chaos resistance, although the roll is low. But I still, at the moment, I can't really replace this because of the dexterity. So they're pretty, and I think I need the cold resistance as well. Yeah, I do need that. So these are pretty much irreplaceable for the time being. I managed to, since last time, I managed to equip the darkness and throne and still be resist cap. So this is my endgame belt. I crafted some jewels. So this one, they're not ideal. Ideally, I would like to get minions have increased damage if you use the minion skill recently, and then another minion damage roll. Actually, I can get 2 damage rolls. I can get added damage, added fire damage, and then just a flat increased damage for minions roll. So those should be the ideal jewels. But at the moment, I've settled for these ones. So this one is mana, increased damage if you use the minion skill, and then minions have got 4% chance to taunt on hit with attacks, which is, I think it is beneficial for me as well. Then this one gives us 2% chance to block spell damage if you were damaged by hits recently. The additional physical damage, first of all, it's really low, and then I mean, it does add some damage, but very little, so it's almost irrelevant. And then the 20% increased damage if you use the minion skill recently, which is all the time because we just keep spamming our Summon Raging Spirit skill anyway. I've still got the old +1 to all level of minion skill gems, which I want to replace with, still need to craft the shield, but it should be a cardinal round shield, level 85. I'll try to get high suppression, because when I swap the helmet, I'm gonna lose some suppression from what I have here, so I want to make up for the suppression on the shield. And then I still need to craft my amulet, because I've got this +1 to all fire skill gems. I want to get +1 to fire skill gems, and then +1 to level of all skill gems, and some other good prefixes, but that could be done pretty deterministically as well. I'm not gonna go over the process because there is quite a few other videos that you can find on the topic, so I don't want to repeat the same thing, and I'm just gonna leave it at that for the amulet. The rings are pretty difficult to replace because this one, I need the intelligence, I need the cold resistance, the minion movement speed is beneficial, although ideally I would want it to be increased attack speed. We need the non-channeling skills, have got reduced mana costs. The flat mana is good, although it's a very low roll, and then we don't need energy shield. But I've got a couple of other rings that, so this one potentially has got Minions have got all elemental resistances. Minions have got increased maximum life, and then they tier 1 increased movement speed for minions. What I can do is, again, I can try and know one of the prefixes. Craft suffixes cannot be changed. Scour it, and then craft again. Suffixes cannot be changed, and just add on prefixes that way. This one is quite a nice string. Unfortunately, it's got a tier 1 minion deal increased damage as a prefix, so I can't really keep that one and the suffixes. So this one, I'll just try to fit it as it is, because it's got high regeneration, high life regeneration for my character, and then minions have got increased attack and cast speed. Increased mana regeneration is useful for me as well. And then the tier 1 increased damage for minions, but the physical damage to attacks is useless for me, and then the added mana is too low to be beneficial. So that's pretty much the gear at the moment. I'll start doing some bossing on the character. But yeah, I want to get more gear so that I can get, because this character already is quite good, and once I get to grips with, you know, how the boss fights work, I'm sure that I'll be able to do them deathless, and I will be eventually able to, you know, progress. If I want to get this character to 100, I'm sure that I'll be able at some point with a little bit better gear and some, you know, more boss fight experience. I'm sure that I'll stop dying completely, because the character is really tanky, and it's very good to get to, you know, to learn the boss encounters for a, you know, first time boss player. As myself, as I said, I've done very little bossing. I've not done any of the, you know, the really high tier bosses either. But once I get the mechanics, I'm sure that I'll be able to progress the character level wise. But ideally, if I have to, you know, to consider the opportunity cost of running another character which is just naturally quicker, you know, like a bow character or some sort of ranged character, which I've already have leveled, and once I get some more gear, I would rather switch to that and be able to run the map mechanics, you know, much quicker, and, you know, you know, get experience at a much, you know, more optimized pace, because we are already more than a month into the league, so I will be playing for the whole league, but with my level of, you know, efficiency when it comes to playing and my level of experience, I really want to experience as much of the league as possible. So I think that getting at least one more character specialized into, you know, speedy mapping could be really good. It will allow me to progress my challenges, you know, farm boss invitations quicker, and then I can swap back to this character and run the invitations, and then, you know, not fear the XP penalty, because this is not my character that I plan to reach a level 100 on. I'll show you some of the gear. Again, it's very bare bones. I'm missing a lot of pieces, but I've started, you know, putting some things together. So we've got some nice starter bows. This one is elemental. It's got not tier 1 rolls, but it's got, you know, fire, lightning and cold damage. It's, you know, reasonable rolls. Tier 3 for the lightning and cold, and then tier 2 for the fire. It's got tier 4 increased projectile speed, some fire resist, which is not ideal on a weapon slot, but it's still, you know, useful for the early gearing. And then tier 2 accuracy rating. But on the other hand, I had this corrupted 6 link, which again, it's got elemental damage rolls, although really much lower than the other bow. And then I've got also Chin Soul, but ideally I would want to get, I think it was the Lion Eye Vision. No, the Lion Eye Vision was the the armor. I can't remember what was the name of the lion eye bow, but the one that has got hits cannot be evaded mod on it, because that would, you know, help me actually get, you know, 100% accuracy, because this was the point. As I said, I did level the character and I did equip it with gear, but because I couldn't make it for the accuracy, the character just wasn't working. Plus, I want to run it as a soul thirst character, so I still need to get the medium jewels that increase the duration of your flasks, because from what you can see, why this belt is good is because it gives you the property gain soul ether during any flask effect, but then it says lose all ether souls when you use a flask. So what you want to do with this type of build is you want to get your flask to be activated once and then have a really long duration. Ideally, you want to be able to finish a map within a single flask usage, and then the soul ether stacks just gives you a lot of offense, and then because of your high damage, you know, this gives you defense as well. But I'm just missing a lot of the gear, and the character just wasn't comfortable to play, so I decided just to pop back into the SRS and keep on farming. As I said, I'll just keep on running maps, you know, 14 plus. I'll probably just finish all of my Kirak maps over the next, you know, week or two, get all the invitations, hopefully get the gear to a point that I can start bossing, and I may actually do some high stitch as well to get like some uniques that I'm needing for the bow character. I'll actually show you quickly what POB you know, I'm basing the bow character on. It is POB that I got from another fellow YouTube POE content creator that I've referenced to in some of my previous videos. I quite like his content, and he's primarily doing just you know, the MF Giga map chooser bow character. So I've copied his POB. The name of the guy is Snoobay85, and where did I put okay, so his Deadeye. There is quite a few things that I'm missing. So in terms of just the core equipment, I don't have the Imperial bow. I want to get the rest of Defiance. I've got Worm Sign, I've got Crew Reward, I'm missing the Taming, I've got Soul Thirst, I'm needing Taste of Hate, and then obviously the Duo. So I need the 2 increased flash duration duos. He's got increased damage over time with bow skills, which I think I might actually have. No, I've got a Chaos Switch, so I need the large cluster as well. Mantra Flames, that's no longer available, so we don't care about this. But yeah, there are some other duos that I can get. So High Stitch actually would be something that I may potentially do to gear up that character. And then I think it's realistic to think that I'll be able to get most of the gear in like maybe a week or 2 weeks, and then that gives me, you know, a solid month to play the map character and potentially, you know, get more gear for a final reroll, and then use all my 3 characters, you know, use their strengths to, you know, do all the, you know, the challenges. Because in terms of challenges, I'm still quite far off. I think at the moment, let me just check in game. So far we are at 12 to 40, 12 out of 40. So we've got still quite a lot of few things to do. So for this one, and you know, the reason that I want to get like a fast mapper that get me to 100 is because getting to level of 100 is part of the, you know, the end game grind challenges. And although I don't know if I'll complete this one, I probably will, because it doesn't look that bad. So you need to complete any 4 of these. So level 100 would be 1. Endgame Labyrinth, probably not. Forbidden Sanctum floors at the area level 81 or higher. We'll definitely be doing that because we want to be running Sanctums. Red tier master missions, we definitely will be doing that because we'll be using master missions to be juicing our maps. Then Shaper Guardian, Elder Guardian, Orioles map, we'll be doing that for sure as well. So these two are pretty easy, I think, and this one as well. So that already gives us 4 Rare Monsters with Pantheon modifiers in tier 60 maps. That's potentially is possible as well. So I think the end game grinds this league is way more forgiving than other leagues. But yeah, we worry about the grind to getting as many challenges as possible once we get our end game like fast mapping type of character setup, which will take us a few more weeks. So yeah, for the next couple of weeks we'll be playing that character, running end game maps, potentially doing heists, and we potentially will be rerolling our Atlas tree. I'm not sure yet if I'll do it on this character or if I'll wait until I reroll into the mapper, the quick mapper that I'm talking about. I'll decide about that because I'm still quite happy with my current Atlas tree. It gives me quite a lot of, just like easy currency, easy map sustain, easy, Atlas missions for Alva, easy expeditions, which is just, income that's just passively going into your your bank account in game. So I'll probably keep it for at least a couple more weeks, and then I'll think about rerolling, and I'll make a video of what I want to go into, but I'll probably stick on that side of the tree. I want to get into Legion, I want to get into potentially Harvests and Breach, and we also want to be doing the end game bossing stuff. So I'll leave the video here, I'll wrap it up for this week, and I'll report with you next Sunday. So for now, take it easy, Exiles, and have a good time in game. Ciao, bye bye.